Hey guys, it's Casey, and today I'm finally going to film a wrap-up. This is a May to July 2018 wrap-up. This time I'm going to try rating things out of 5, and I'm probably going to try that format for reviews as well, so let me know if you guys like that, or if you want me to just go back to vaguely talking about everything, I don't know. Okay, embarrassingly enough, I only read one book in May, which was The Shallows by Nicholas Carr. I talked about it a little bit in my new to booktube tag, but basically it's a nonfiction book about the impact of the internet on the way that our brains function, and it was really scary and really interesting. I would definitely recommend it, especially for anyone interested in neuroscience or anything like that. But it's also easy enough to understand for the layperson. Like, I'm not into neuroscience, but I could understand what he was talking about. Yeah, it was basically saying that like adults' brains are a lot more plastic than previously thought. The internet encourages shallow browsing of a wide array of information rather than deep thought about one thing, and just like how that impacts the way we think and the way we absorb information. So it was a really great read. Overall, I would give The Shallows a 4 out of 5. Okay, so this is where I stopped keeping track in June and July, so I'm not sure which I read in June and which I read in July. But in my defense, the reason I only read one book in May is because I started reading World Without End by Ken Follett, which is over 1,000 pages, but 100% worth it. It was so interesting. Now, it's a historical fiction set in 1300s England, and it's kind of like a political drama. I feel like it would make a really good TV show. What I really liked about it is that it's a historical fiction, but it's not like pounding you over the head with historical details, but it's still, or at least as far as I know, it's still very historically accurate. It also had really great characters. I did have an aversion to historical fiction in the past, but I think that's because I had mostly read children's historical fiction, which really tends to focus more on the trying to teach the history by pounding it into the kid's brain instead of focusing on story or characters. So I think adult historical fiction so far has tended to be better in that area. So I think World Without End was over 1,000 pages, but there were no parts that were boring. Like, it was so fascinating. Just, it had like family drama, politics, a huge cast of characters, but they were all like really interesting people. 5 out of 5, really good. The other thing I read in June, I talked about a little bit in my Q&A video, was Goodnight Poon by Inio Asano. It's like a realistic fiction about an elementary school student and his coming of age, I guess. Or it's more about how he had to grow up too fast. It has some really interesting art. The main character is represented by this bird, and then it has a lot of like really grotesque imagery that's really interesting. I'm planning to make an analysis video, so I won't talk about it too much, but the simplicity of the language, like juxtaposed with the heavy themes that Goodnight Poon deals with, like made it really impactful. If you like sad things, definitely give Goodnight Poon a try. I would give that 5 out of 5 as well. The other book that I read was The Hidden Oracle, which is the first Trials of Apollo book by Riordan. It's a continuation of the Heroes of Olympus series. Basically picks up with Apollo after he gets punished by Zeus at the end of the Heroes of Olympus series. Apollo has been punished by Zeus and turned into a human, so he has to do something amazing, basically, to regain Zeus's favor and become a god again. I'm going to make a full review on it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but overall, I think it's pretty average. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible. It was not as good as the Percy Jackson books at all. I don't know, it's too early for me to say whether I like it better than Heroes of Olympus or not, but I give it a 3 out of 5. Okay, which brings me to the one book that I didn't finish, but I got a good chunk in. I want to say I got like at least 200 pages in, but then I just stopped reading it because I just couldn't take it anymore, which was Magnus, the first Magnus Chase book, The Sword of Summer, also by Riordan. And the reason is not that it was bad, like I don't think it was a terrible book or anything, it's just that it just felt like a washed out, more pessimistic copy of the Percy Jackson books, and the whole time I was reading it, I was just wishing that I was reading about Percy instead of Magnus, so like it just kind of felt like the exact same story, just with a less enjoyable cast, not because they're worse characters, just because, you know, it's so similar that I just miss the old cast and I just can't stop thinking about them in context of this new story that should have nothing to do with them, but it is such a similar like plot that it feels the same. Even the characters kind of felt like copies of other, like there was that tough Valkyrie girl who's like basically just Clarice with a different name, and then there's, you know, Sam, who's similar to like Annabeth, and then there's the troll and the elf, who are kind of like Grover split into two people. I mean, obviously there's like slight differences, but like the role in this story is so similar that it just doesn't feel like that interesting to me. But if there's anybody who read that without reading Percy Jackson first, then I'm curious what you thought of it. Okay, now to the anime. So I only finished 2 anime over the course of these past couple months. The first one I finished was Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I thought it was really good, much better than the first one in my opinion, except for the beginning. Because I think the beginning kind of just assumed that everybody watching Brotherhood had already watched the 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist, so they kind of just rushed through everything and like jam-packed it in there, and it felt really like rushed in the beginning because they didn't want to bore people with the exact same content, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't like the beginning that much. But other than that, I thought they did a really good job with it. Oh yeah, I especially love how they wrote the female characters in Brotherhood. I know, like, I've never heard anybody talk about it, but I'm really surprised nobody's talked about it. Like, it has the best female characters I've seen in a really long time, so I think that might end up being my first video about it, but I'm not sure, so stay tuned for that, I guess. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Then the other anime that I finished was 91 Days. So 91 Days is set in Prohibition-era America, and it's about the mafia. So basically the main character had his family killed by the mafia, and the whole show is his revenge scheme. I thought it was really entertaining, and I'm going to make a full review on it later, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. It was sort of like a mystery, also a mystery thriller kind of anime. I wouldn't say they did a wonderful job with the characters, like it could have been better, but it wasn't horrible. You know, and it's very suspenseful and things like that. So I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I think it was good. So that is it for my May to July wrap up. Let me know how you guys like the number rating system. I'm probably gonna try it in my reviews too, so you can let me know what you think of it there as well. And also, if you notice these beautiful anime posters in the background, this one is Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist, of course, and this one is Midoriya and Bakugo from My Hero Academia. I ordered them from Extra Feathers and TC. I will link their shops in the description so that you guys can... I mean, these aren't the only posters they have either. They have like a lot of other stuff, and they're not all posters. Some are t-shirts, mugs, things like that, but like they have really, really beautiful art products. So you should check them out too. They also have YouTube channels if you'd rather just like watch speed paints or stuff like that. They have YouTube channels that I'll also link. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you're not subscribed already, then hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this. And I'll see you in another video. Bye.